Everyone always says, trust your gut. But what if your gut is telling you something you don't want to believe? What if the danger doesn't come from a stranger in the dark, but from someone your husband trusts? Someone you were told was safe? This isn't a story about an affair. It's not a story about violence. It's a story about the kind of fear that builds slowly, smile by smile, until it's too close to ignore. What happened to her could happen to anyone, and it all started with one simple favor and a stoplight. She felt his hand on her thigh before she even saw the red light. Her breath caught, her pulse stuttered, and for a moment she forgot where she was. The road ahead was empty, the intersection silent. A blinking crosswalk sign ticked down in slow motion. 10, 9, 8. She turned her head, just slightly, heart pounding, mouth dry, every hair on her arm standing stiff. This was not her husband's hand. It was Trevor's, her husband's colleague, the man she had known for less than 20 minutes. And he was smiling. Not sheepishly, not as if he'd made a mistake, but like he meant it. And in that moment, her whole world, her marriage, her safety, her assumptions, felt like they'd tilted sideways. Why did he touch her like that? Why did he think he could? And what was she supposed to do now? Let's go back. Because this story didn't start at the stoplight. It started 3 days earlier, with a text message from her husband that she almost ignored. Hey babe, can you give Trevor a ride home from the airport on Friday? At first, she thought it was a joke. Trevor, the guy she'd met once, at a company barbecue 6 months ago. Quiet, polite, a little awkward maybe, but not memorable. Her husband called him solid, said he was trustworthy, said he was going through a rough patch with his divorce. So she agreed, because that's what you do when your husband asks for a favor. But if she had known what that favor would cost her, if she had seen even a sliver of what was coming, she would have never gotten in that car. Friday afternoon. The sun was low and soft, slicing through the windshield like golden knives. She spotted him right away, Trevor in his usual khakis and button-down, rolling one small suitcase, earbuds in. He smiled when he saw her. Not just a polite smile, too wide, too familiar. You didn't have to come all the way, he said, sliding into the passenger seat. It's no problem, she replied, masking the slight chill crawling up her spine. Trevor smelled like expensive cologne and mint gum. His voice had a new confidence, one she didn't remember from the barbecue. You look really different, he said as she pulled out of the terminal lane. She laughed nervously. I cut my hair? It suits you. Very mature. Something about the way he said mature made her stomach twist, but she let it go, because who wants to jump to conclusions? She asked about his trip, small talk filled. The car like white noise, safe, neutral, until they hit the first red light. Until he said something that made her fingers freeze on the wheel. Does your husband know how lucky he is? The light turned green. She didn't respond. Because how do you respond to that? You see, from the outside, everything had always looked fine. Her marriage was fine. Her home was fine. Her life was normal, not perfect. But no disasters, no betrayals. She hadn't realized how much she'd taken that normal for granted until Trevor started cracking it open, piece by piece, with words wrapped in smiles. At first, she chalked it up to awkward flirtation. Maybe he was lonely. Maybe he didn't mean it. But it didn't stop. 3 blocks later, he asked if she still danced, like she used to in college. She hadn't mentioned that to him. Ever. Your husband talks about you, he said when she asked. Too much, apparently. When they pulled up to a stoplight, the stoplight, he shifted in his seat, leaned in slightly, and said, I get why he never shuts up about you. Then the hand, the silence, the smile. She flinched away, and for a moment, Trevor didn't move. Then he laughed, lightly, like she was the one overreacting. You're tense, just a friendly gesture. But it wasn't. and she knew it. Put yourself in her shoes for a second. You're in a car with a man you barely know. He's your husband's colleague. You don't want to cause drama. Don't want to jump to conclusions. But every instinct in your body is screaming, something is wrong. What do you do? She didn't want to embarrass him or herself. So she changed the subject, asked about work, about the new project he and her husband were doing together. And that's when the second crack appeared. Trevor smirked. He didn't tell you? Tell me what? That we're not working together anymore. The truth came out in layers. Her husband and Trevor had a falling out weeks ago. Something about money, or a deal gone sideways. Trevor had been let go. Not fired officially, just edged out. Her husband hadn't said a word. When she got home that evening, she asked him, casually. He stiffened, then shrugged. It wasn't a big deal, he said. I didn't want to bother you with it. But his voice betrayed him. Tight, defensive, like there was more, and there was. Because what Trevor told her next made her blood run cold. The messages started the next day. Trevor sent her a song, one they'd played at her wedding, then a photo of the airport, with her reflection in the car window, smiling faintly, then a text. I get why he's scared. She showed it to her. Husband, he went pale. And that's when the truth came pouring out. Trevor hadn't been let go because of a disagreement. He'd been let go because of behavior complaints, not from her husband, but from other women at work. Subtle comments, inappropriate closeness. Always walking the line. HR had documented it quietly. No big fallout, just separation. Her husband hadn't told her because he didn't want to taint her view. But now it was too late. Trevor had her number, her face, her patterns. He knew where she lived, and he was unraveling, fast. They went to the police, filed a report, but without a direct threat, there wasn't much they could do. He's just being weird, the officer said. If he contacts you again, we'll escalate. That night, she couldn't sleep, because that stoplight moment kept playing over and over in her head. His hand, his smile, the way he looked at her like he knew something she didn't. And that's when she remembered. She never gave him her number. Her husband didn't either. So how did Trevor contact her? The twist came 3 days later. She got a call from a blocked number. It was Trevor. He sounded calm, collected. I just wanted to apologize, he said. For what? For everything. For making you uncomfortable. For going too far. She stayed silent. I got carried away. You were just so kind. I thought maybe you felt something too. She hung up, shaking. Not from fear this time, but from anger. How dare he rewrite reality? How dare he make her doubt her own instincts? She told her husband everything. They changed their numbers, strengthened security, filed a restraining order. But what haunted her wasn't Trevor's obsession. It was how close she'd come to brushing it off. How easy it is to silence your instincts to keep things normal. This is where everything started to go wrong. Not at the stoplight. But the moment she decided to be polite instead of honest. To ignore discomfort for the sake of peace. To protect her husband's reputation instead of her own safety. And that's what she wants you to remember. Because Trevor didn't wear a mask. He didn't jump from behind a bush. He smiled, complimented, asked soft questions. But manipulation doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. So what happened at the stoplight? It wasn't just an unwanted touch. It was the start of a test she didn't know she was taking. And if she hadn't trusted that jolt of discomfort in her gut, if she hadn't pulled away, drawn a line, asked the hard questions, she doesn't know where the road would have led. But now she does. And so do you. Because next time someone crosses the line with a smile, you'll remember the stoplight. And maybe that will be enough to save you.